Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for the Holtecast this week. We have actually the founder of the blog, Kirsten Schlewitz, on with us, along with Robert and I today, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Villa, but mostly about the World Cup. But I guess starting with Villa, let's talk about the new signing. They got a center back on a free transfer from Valencia, Philippe Senderos. What do you guys think of this signing?
I couldn't be more excited. I mean, if you've read what I've written about it, it's just absolute elation at signing a guy who we may see 15 times this year.
Hopefully, I think.
Hey, our center backs get hurt a lot.
That's true.
So,
I mean, he's Chris Hurd or not Chris Hurd. He's Nathan Baker concussion cover.
Yeah, and I don't think Janoy Donasian is really quite ready for the first team yet. So I think for cover it's a good signing, especially because it's free and really not too much harm done. Kind of like what we thought of the Grant Holt loan signing.
Good. That's good. Yeah, thank you for that.
That's the right reaction to the Grant Holt loan signing. Remembering it. Is one thing that I was thinking. I wrote yesterday that there was no possible bad side to this. Do you guys think I was right, or is there some possible bad side to this?
Maybe if he has a couple lucky games early in the season and stunts either Clark or Baker's development, but that's about it.
Anything, Kirsten?
If he gets a concussion in the first 13 minutes of the first game and we don't see him again, well, it depends on what we're paying him. I mean, I know it's a free, but we're,
I can't imagine his wages are too high.
Coming from
that's
Valencia,
what I thought because he's Valencia, yeah,
he's 29. He probably just wanted
that
a steady contract, and just because of the way finances are in Spain right now. A little bit about him: he's 29 years old, center back. He's Swiss. I think people will like him because he's a proven Premier League player. He has experience at Arsenal as well as Everton.
and experience in Europe.
Fulham, most importantly.
And experience in Europe. Yeah, that's a good point.
And he's going to the World Cup.
It just worries me, and I wrote this in my story, like, Fulham had the most goals conceded this season, and yet they shipped him out on loan to Valencia. How bad was he?
When did he get sent out? Was it in January or was it at the beginning of the season? Okay.
January, I think it was just a managerial change.
So it was Mullenstein that sent him out?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Alright,
McGath came in on.
Some of the older guys didn't get along with McGatt, but that was just because, I don't know, even some of the younger guys like Mitroglou didn't, so I guess with the wage budget the way it is at the club, it's kind of unfortunate to see this signing because we're looking at center back free transfers, someone who's older but still going to be somewhat cheap, and we were thinking Jolyon Lescott, and with the signing of Senderos, it looks a little more unlikely, but I still wouldn't rule it out.
Who would you rather have, Senderos or Lescott?
Lescott,
I'd rather have Senderos.
Oh, really?
So why, Kirsten?
Because I hate Jolyon Lescott's face,
No.
and I don't look at it every week.
Is
He did get
that
hit
is
by
my
a bus.
answer.
is that a metaphorical I hate his face or a literal?
No, like literally, it fills me with rage.
I mean, we used to be big fans of Andy Marshall, so I'm not sure.
Andy Marshall didn't get hit by a bus.
That's a fair point. Did you guys see the rumor that Lescott was being chased by the Portland Timbers?
Yeah, I saw. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're really willing to believe he's going to take $2 million a year, I guess maybe tax reasons. I guess I saw Schalke were after him today though. So
Yeah, the Portland Timbers connection cracked me up. So, is there really much to say about Senderos though? I mean, he's going to be cover. He's not coming in as a starter.
let's hope he doesn't kill himself
We
at
have
the World
another
Cup.
goal in the World Cup. Yeah.
We've got another one for the World Cup, so that's...
He's not going to start for Switzerland though. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll be coming off the bench, but we'll probably see more of him than we see Brad Guzan.
Maybe
It's
if
probably
we give up more than
gets
one
hurt.
to Ghana, I think Howard should get axed. I think Howard should get axed anyways, but not literally, just from the team. I mean, I don't like him, but I wouldn't wish that on him.
Um,
as long as Guzan doesn't turn out like Given from Euro 2012, because that was the end of Shea Given. So I'm kind of just if Guzan doesn't play, that's whatever. It's fine with me.
yeah. Any other news you guys are interested in Aston Villa right now?
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention was how Lerner had slashed the asking price by what, 50 million pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of also bring up your other article, Robert, about the value of the squad, what it was valued at, and it's higher than what Lerner had bought the club for.
Do you guys make anything of that, or is that just the sort of standard of inflation in the Premier League?
I was thinking it was just inflation.
Yeah. Which is obviously greatly outpaced real-world inflation.
Yeah, I mean, not if you're looking at the pound versus the dollar, because when Lerner bought the team, the pound was a lot stronger compared to the dollar, more closer to 2-1 than it is now at, I think, 1.6.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of lost some money in that if you're thinking about it that way, because I'm sure the English clubs didn't want to be paid in suitcases full of dollars or something, you know.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but we had a guy on Twitter named Mephobia. I'm not sure what he is. He's a JP Morgan financial analyst who specializes in sports mergers. That got in touch with us because ATP Radio, Across the Pond Radio, tweeted at us, and he is very firmly convinced that Lerner was dropping the price from 250 to 200 and not 200 to 150 like the English press were reporting. Any thoughts on that?
I have no idea.
200 million pounds, right?
Yeah, so he thinks the price cut dropped Villa to 200 rather than to 150.
Do we have any way to know? Anyone
That-
friends with like Lerner's son? I think that'd be.
I mean, that
he
was
probably
my
doesn't
that was
even
my
know.
issue. It seemed a little bit like an ITK thing, but he's also, if his Twitter bio is to be believed, he's a JP Morgan financial analyst who does sports mergers. So
Well, that's illegal then.
you think it's insider info?
Yeah.
I don't think he's.
I mean, if it's not like Villa are publicly traded. If
Yeah.
they were, I think it might be easier to get a takeover, because if you could sell, if Lerner was holding the majority share, I guess, and only had to sell really 70% of the club or something, I think it'd be, or if he put it up, I mean, it's not really a good time to put Villa on the market, obviously, but it could be easier because money could come in from different sources, which seems to me like it's the biggest stumbling block, is someone doesn't want to stump up all that cash themselves. But maybe if two people came in, like, I think the Dunkin' Donuts guys kind of made some sense because there were two of them, even though they had been losing a lot of cash lately.
Boy, I never want to think about that story again after how well I got burned by that fake website.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Didn't want to mention that. Yeah, what? So you want to just move on to the villains at the World Cup then?
Certainly. Who are you most excited to watch at the World Cup, Kirsten? Yeah, of the villains.
Of all three of them that are there,
Yeah, I'm going to give you a little time to think this over. There's a lot of choices.
we have two defenders and a goalkeeper, and only Vlar is going to start. I'm actually excited to see how well Vlar does at the Netherlands, since their defense is pretty crap.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings that they're going to run with 5 at the back.
Why? They should just eliminate as many defenders as possible from the formation and throw on more strikers.
Yeah, I think the last game they ran a 4-4-2.
Okay. So
Five at
the
the back would be a nightmare against Chile. They would get housed, probably for 6 goals, because none of those guys are fast. Maybe outside the wing backs.
Yeah, the impression I got that it was 3 center backs and 2 wings in the back. But do you think
Nigel
VAR
de
has
Jong back there and tell him chop down people's legs if they're running through on goal. I don't know what else there is to do to tell the Dutch how to defend. They just try to get the ball back any way possible and get it to your forwards.
Is Vlar their best defensive option?
At center back, I think so.
Yeah.
I think Jeffrey Broom is too young, and Bruno Martins Indy is not. He's pretty young as well, actually. So.
Yeah.
And I guess what we always usually talk about with Villar is how he brings the intangibles. He's not just because of his skill. If he can get their whole defense is more than just defending with your back four. Your whole team has to be organized, and if Villar is able to do so at something like he's able to do at Villa, I think that could be big for them. And usually with the Dutch, if they're not playing well, it's because there's a feud in their dressing room or whatever, and so if they all get along, and I don't know if they want Villar to be that kind of guy, it could be successful.
That's what I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
'Cause the Dutch stereotype, Kirsten, is that they're sort of a selfish team. And do you think this? I mean, do you have any idea if this year's team is any different?
Well, they have Robin.
Well, they still have. Yeah, they still have their huge egos. They have Robin, they have Van Persie, they have Schneider. Yeah, I don't see how it would be that different going forward.
All right, and I mean,
well, it's gonna be the last hurrah for their coach before he moves on to United.
Is that a good thing for them or a bad thing? What do we think?
I think short-term good, long-term maybe bad. But I think they should bring in a young coach, maybe Frank de Boer from Ajax, and start getting some younger players in. Because after this World Cup, maybe after the Euros, it's going to be time for that older guys to move on.
And what were you saying, Kirsten?
I have no idea.
It's all right.
I forget.
It's almost bedtime where you are.
It's 8:30.
It's 8:30? Oh, okay. Yeah, I take it back then.
Yeah, but I've been editing that World Cup preview for days, so.
So right now you're an expert who
mess.
doesn't want to think about it.
Yes, but I'm here to talk about it anyway.
All right, so one of the things that I wanted to make sure we asked you about then, since we have you here to talk about it, is tell us a little bit about that Bosnia team. I did Across the Ponds Brazil thing the other day, and I had to talk about the Bosnia group, and I started doing some research, and I realized that you knew far more about them than anyone else. So why is it that you know so much about the Bosnian team?
Well, I'm not sure I know more about them than anyone else. I'm pretty sure the Bosnians actually know more than I do, but...
Maybe.
Well, first of all, yeah, it depends on which Bosnians, but there are definitely some good guys out there. About 2 years ago, I just started generally getting into Bosnian history and the whole, in general, the culture of the Balkans, but I really love Bosnia, and since I love football as well, it kind of connected, and so then I moved here to Montenegro. It's a lot easier to get all of the news about this stuff down here, so when they did really well in their qualifying group, I just decided that I was kind of going to adopt them and become a little bit of an expert on the team.
All right, so...
They had a great qualifying group, by the way, or qualifying campaign, by the way.
Yeah, the group wasn't so great, but yeah, they scored about
just about
30. Yeah, I mean they finished even with Greece, but they scored something like 25 goals more than Greece. So
yeah, even though they conceded a few more than the Greeks, obviously, but yeah. So I guess try to tell us a little bit about the background of the team and maybe a little bit about the coach and the new attacking philosophy that saw them score all those goals in qualifying.
Yeah, they pretty much had to go with attack because they didn't have a defense and they didn't have a defensive midfielder when they were going through qualifying. Plus, they had Dzeko up front, and they've got Pjanic in the middle who can create the goals. And their qualifying group was pretty crap, let's face it. But now Susic has kind of realized a little bit that he's got to face Argentina, and maybe defense might be a little bit of an idea. So he's brought in a couple other defenders, and he's brought in a defensive midfielder that's been playing in Hungary, and that one should beat. I mean, Susic said something like he's the only one in Bosnia he'd trust to man-mark Messi, which probably an exaggeration, but at least they've looked a lot better in the friendlies, in the recent friendlies, with having Besic there.
Yeah, definitely. They looked good beating Mexico the other night in a very pro-Mexico Soldier Field in Chicago. So I think they have a tough group. I think it's either going to be them or Nigeria getting out of that, and obviously behind Argentina. But I think the big thing for Bosnia is their first 11 are pretty great, but when it gets to the bench, if they need to bring anyone in, they're in big trouble.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of depth. They're going to use just one striker up front, so now at least they have a striker on the bench. But they're having issues with defense because people are picking up little injuries. And yeah, like I said, they only have one defensive midfielder, so one injury and they're kind of screwed.
So one of the questions I had, because when I was getting ready to go on ATP, you made sure to tell me, don't make the mistake of saying they have a great defense. But if you look at their record in the qualifying stages, they really didn't let much in. So why is it that the numbers are lying here?
Well, look at their qualifying group. I mean, they had what? Well, Greece. That doesn't
Serbia was
ever...
going to be a tough matches.
Sorry?
They had Serbia, no?
No, that was Croatia.
Oh, that was Belgium's group. Sorry.
Yeah, it was. Hang on, I can look it up.
I've got it. They had Greece, Slovakia, Bosnia, Lithuania, Latvia, and Liechtenstein.
Yeah. So I mean, with the exception of Slovakia, and Slovakia did manage to score against them once they got their new coach and were actually moving forward. But, you know, Greece doesn't like to score, and the rest of the teams are so tiny that really,
If they're
that's why it
scoring,
looks
it's in a
like they could
6-1.
just... Yeah, pretty much, when nobody cares anymore. I think it was 8, actually.
To put it into a little bit of perspective, there were 76 goals scored in the entire group. So 76 goals amongst 6 teams, and Bosnia had 30 of those 76.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about offensive powerhouses here.
Well,
Yeah, not quite.
I mean,
they're
not powerhouses, but...
Slovakia picked up a little bit, you were saying?
Yeah, Slovakia picked up at the end, and, you know, they did manage to put 3 past Greece, and Greece is known for defending. Mm-hmm. So they can do it.
They decided they didn't want to go to the playoffs and lose to Portugal this time.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's how they got eliminated, from Euro 2012 and South Africa 2010 in the playoffs against Portugal.
So, to your mind, are the Bosnians the best storyline in the World Cup?
Well, they are the only debutante, so that gives them, you know, that extra little push of, ooh, and of course, every single preview has to talk about the war. You know, this was a nation devastated by war 20 years ago, and now they're going to the World Cup, and it's a feel-good story. So, and they do have that narrative.
I know for the match in Rio, they have Argentina, so they'll have the crowd on their side.
Yes, that's true.
And how do you rate their chances of getting out of the group?
Well, I don't rate Nigeria that much. I don't know why so many people do. I watched them during qualifying, and
they're boring.
I thought they were dreadful. Yeah, they're extremely boring. They have a good keeper, and they've got good wide play, but
they're not as fit as
I think with the new... Yeah, and I think with the new defensiveness that Bosnia's brought in, I think that it'll be Bosnia, and then, you know, they'll go out at the quarterfinals.
At the quarters rather than the round of 16?
No, I always say that because Euros just come to mind. The round of 16.
Okay, yeah, no, I would believe quarters.
We'll go out before the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that would be a hell of a match for them to win if they can make it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. So, what's your favorite group from this World Cup?
I think it's either group. I think it's probably Group B.
Okay.
Group B is Spain, Netherlands, Chile, and Australia. I think that's really interesting. I think Group C is also interesting now that Falcao is out, and so it's Colombia, Greece, Ivory Coast, and Japan. I really rate Japan.
Yeah, you said that a couple of weeks ago on the podcast that if you wanted to watch a fun team at the Cup, watch Japan. Why? What is it about Japan that you like so much?
Well, I think I really used to like Belgium, but they're not hip enough anymore. I think I think Japan a little more trendy now. Everyone knows about Belgium, so Japan, they're not really great at the back, but they're really well organized, and their attacking midfielders are incredible, really. And I think any team that has maybe 5 people who could put a free kick in from 30 yards is always going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Is this the same Japan team we've seen in the past years, or have they changed their style, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people are a little older, like Endo. Endo's getting up there, and really not going to be good for 90 minutes. But I think Kagawa's legs are going to be fresh. Hopefully, if he's match fit. But Kagawa alongside Honda and Kiyotake, that's always going to be dangerous for you, I think, up top.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Are you guys at all excited? You mentioned Group B, and Group B has, to me, what's the most exciting thing of it all, the prospect of watching a team play 3 at the back in Chile.
I think.
Is that exciting, or is it just me?
I love Chile. I think they're more fun than Japan.
I
think
hope
Chile
they
are more
go
fun than
through.
Japan.
I think they'll beat either Spain
I
or
hope they-
Netherlands, not both, but their odds are only
I
like.
think they'll destroy them.
You think they'll destroy the Netherlands?
Yeah.
The defense. Yeah. Because Chile just kind of swarmed forward.
They have a really. It's kind of a weird shape too. It's like a 3-3-1-3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have a shape. I think they just go for it.
Yeah, they have players. Last I saw, they played 3 at the back, and one was Gary Medel from Cardiff, and then Vidal just runs all over. That guy can run forever.
Yeah.
So I think part of the reason that I'm so intrigued about Chile is that ever so often we see something, if it works really successfully at the World Cup, you start to see it percolate its way through the world of football.
Well, you know where they got their formation from their coach, who was at Universidad de Chile. So he kind of brought it to that level, and they still do that a bit there. And I think no one really pays attention at all to South America, I guess, though. So
Exactly. So I mean, this is the chance for this 3 at the back thing to shine on a world stage. If Chile make it to say the quarterfinals or something like that, do you guys expect to see many teams trying out the 3 at the back next year?
probably not, because it will showcase the strengths and it will showcase the weaknesses.
And what was that, Kirsten?
I said I forget that other countries don't play 3 at the back all the time. Like it's
Like England,
common in Italy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of the norm with 2 strikers, I guess, when you're playing teams with 2 strikers. I don't know, Spain could wear them out.
Everyone rates Spain really highly
Yes.
this year, and do you buy it?
Yeah, Spain is the only country who's maybe the people who didn't make their World Cup squad could win the World Cup.
That's a pretty bold statement. I don't know if I entirely agree with that. I mean, because part of the reason I'm starting to wonder. What was that, Kirsten?
I was just wondering. I don't think that they Spain defenders if it was only the players not going to the World Cup.
Or maybe at least their reserves are lower, would have a chance.
I mean, the question that I've heard some people bring this up, and I started to wonder it myself. Have the world kind of figured out Spain?
No. Even if they know what's coming, it's not. I mean, Spain won't always hit you for a ton of goals. They only scored 1.75 on average in qualifying, but they conceded. I think they scored 15 goals and conceded 3.
And I saw you sort of shaking your head, Kirsten. Why is that?
Well, I think the thing is, like Jack said, the world knows what's coming, but they don't know how to stop it because if Spain won't give people the ball, there's just no way to make it stop, you know.
I'll agree
And
with.
these teams are going to sit back.
Sorry.
I was just going to say these teams are going to try to sit back and be defensive, but there's only so long you can soak up that pressure. And most of these teams don't have a defense to get away with that.
Yeah, and on shorter rest, it can be tough because the Europeans are going to die in the winter in Brazil, or at least the English will. But I think, yeah, I think you can say that some people may have figured out Spain, Brazil did last year at the Confederations Cup. I think some teams might have a plan, but a lot of teams could just be overwhelmed.
And any of the teams that are going to have a plan are people that Spain are going to meet in the quarterfinals or later, you think?
Like, I think Croatia could be in trouble if they go second in Group A and Spain go first in Group B, which is probably what will happen. If somehow either Spain or Brazil finish second, it'll be a pretty interesting first knockout round game.
Yeah, absolutely. Kirsten, do you have a group that's your favorite?
Well, I like that was B, right? I like B as well, but and obviously I like F because that's where Bosnia is.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually like E because I think France are going to be quite good this time around,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Switzerland are going to win.
I've heard a few people calling Switzerland their dark horse to make
Although it
a
might
run. What's
Yeah,
intriguing?
I think people are just now figuring that out. Well,
so what
How
about
Switzerland
they
is
Switzerland
have
intriguing
a
you?
really good young. Sorry, that was like double question there.
No, it's all right. I was saying, what about Switzerland is intriguing you for this?
Um, pretty young. They're fast. I don't know. They're just kind of different. They're both like they like to attack and they're quick, but they're also pretty cohesive, if you know what I mean. So they're not just going to be a huge sprawling mess.
I
And
mean,
they don't
Plus
really have a
that
superstar.
helps.
They're a good group of solid professionals.
they don't have a superstar except for the world's greatest center back, Philippe Senderos.
And there's also well, yeah, of course. But there's also that a fight could break out in midfield because Valon Barami and Gokhan Inler are actually in a fight. They have to partner each other in defensive midfield, so that could be fun.
Absolutely worth keeping an eye on there. So you think it'll be Switzerland and France coming out of that group? You don't give Ecuador or Honduras a chance?
Honduras haven't won a game at the World Cup in their history.
And Ecuador?
Yeah, I think maybe Ecuador can pick up a point, but I think it'll be France top and
Ecuador should beat
Yeah.
Honduras, I think.
That would be-
yeah.
If Ecuador are
That's
playing at
probably fair.
home, Ecuador at home in qualifying, when it's 9,000 feet above sea level, but
Yeah, but
what
that's
they
the
did at
thing. People
qualifying,
keep
they
about that, but
they scored 15. They only conceded 3, 7 wins and 1 draw at home, but they failed to win on foreign soil. I mean, if it was in Ecuador, maybe you give them a chance to get out of the group, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not the same to be, on flat ground in Brazil as it is to be in Quito.
mhm.
It is Quito, right? Sounds stupid.
I think so. we're really good at geography.
Pretty sure it's
Yeah, Quito. Yeah, okay. It sounded right. I mean, the thing that makes me wonder about Ecuador is they should beat Honduras, and then if they can nab a point elsewhere, that becomes the issue. I mean, everyone in that group should be able to beat Honduras, so we're kind of assuming a base of 3 points.
I think the Swiss could maybe draw France, but I think France will score more goals and therefore top it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I I could see Ecuador sort of slipping out of the group stages, not because they were better, but because Switzerland and France sort of beat up on each other.
I mean, if a lot of Swiss players get injured,
That would be disappointing.
Yeah, it would be disappointing. I don't
The
really
Swiss
want
are
to see
machine.
Ecuador.
yeah.
Anything about Group A? We got Brazil, Croatia, Mexico, Cameroon. Are we all rooting
Cameroon
to see
are really
Mexico?
bad.
Are we all rooting
Mexico
to
are
see
also
Mexico
really
get
bad.
crushed?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mexico
Mexico
are
almost
bad.
played in the opener again. They played in that in South Africa. That was really interesting when they got their keeper sent off. He gave away the penalty, but then the next guy came in and saved it. Or no, maybe they just equalized it late. That was the Euros. But yeah, but they Mexico drew South Africa, and then I was like really sad because South Africa weren't going to go through the group then.
So, do we think Mexico have any chance of getting out of this group, or are they too battered and injured?
If they steal a win against
I
Croatia,
don't think they will.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah,
Croatia are a lot better.
oh yeah,
I was just going to say Croatia are a lot better now than they were in qualifying, and they were all right in qualifying. And Cameroon are ancient, so Mexico could beat Cameroon.
Cameroon are really slow. Besides Eto.
Yeah.
Because they're one of those countries like
Yeah,
Argentina, all they can
Canada.
produce is strikers. Cameroon, defensive mids.
I don't
Alright,
think
so we
Edo
think
can
Brazil-
go 90 minutes, can he?
I'm not entirely certain if he
I
can. I think you're
I think
right.
Brazil.
So Brazil and Croatia to advance out of Group A?
Yep. Brazil should
Yeah.
get 9 points, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And Group B...
Cameroon's odds to get out of or to win the group are 25-1.
Go put a pound on it. That actually seems
No
shockingly
thanks.
less steep.
Low. Yeah, they're ripping you off.
Yeah. I can never remember if low means the odds are better or worse than they should be, but yeah.
I can't remember that either. Jack, which team has, like, if I were to go put a euro on a team to get out of the group, which would I make the most money on? Like Costa Rica?
I think Costa Rica.
You know?
I'm
You keep
sorry,
telling me
I'm just getting to it now because I opened one window and it had an ad that was playing in my ears, so it closed it. But
Oh, okay.
group. Let's look at the group betting. Oh, here's just outright the Australia. I think Australia maybe would. Costa Rica though, that's kind of the same situation. Both those teams along with Iran are 2,500-1 to win the competition.
So you're
Okay.
saying that's
To win
probably
the
not gonna
group
happen.
outright, Costa Rica also 25-1 though, yeah.
That's all?
You can get 4,000 to 1 on a couple of these.
Yeah, I'm on Sky Bet right now.
Huh.
You can get 4,000 to 1 on Honduras if you go through Bet Victor.
Hmm.
Okay.
So,
I think that
so
might
you're-
be a waste of my euro.
Victor knows it's still an easy euro, yeah.
they could offer 10,000 to 1 and still make their money.
But
Most
then
likely.
again, when Greece won the Euros, that was like something like 2,500 to 1 odds. So
So,
it does happen.
so you're saying Honduras has a chance?
I'm saying they might have a chance to make it out of their group.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Some of these odds are hilariously weird. You can get where did I just see that? You can get 264 to 1 for the US to win it.
That's very specific.
Yeah,
Give
264.
Give me Brazil to win the competition and Hulk to be top scorer at 66-1.
You want that? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
Oh, winner
I
top.
think Hulk is great because Neymar, Brazil and Neymar, which is what I was going to tell Kirsten to go stick money on that for me. It's only 16-1. Like,
Who takes the penalties? Does Neymar take the penalties?
I think so.
Because you got to consider if you're doing top scorer that it's probably going to be a penalty taker.
I think
Especially
taking David Villa to score some goals might be a decent bet. He didn't get really a lot of use out of his legs this year, so he should be fairly healthy.
So you think they'll bring him on in the later minutes?
Say
Because they're
again?
not starting him. They're not starting him, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he has a good game early, and then once the matches start kind of piling up, you got to rotate the squad a bit. Because who are they gonna use a striker? Do you think? Fabregas? Fabregas is
Well,
bad.
it depends on if Costa is fit at all.
Because I don't think Kostic is gonna play.
Yeah, probably not early.
Yeah. By the way, have you seen any clinics for horse placenta? I know you're kind of by Serbia, and that's what Costa went for before the final.
No, we had not heard of it. There are no horse placenta clinics here.
One question I've been
Oh no, my
pondering.
World Cup preview cheat.
One question I'd like to
What?
know from both of you: who do you think is going to be the star of the tournament? Maybe not the biggest goal scorer, but if you had to name a player of the tournament, who do you think it's going to be?
Neymar.
Kirsten? Hmm?
Using Neymar cheating. I'll go Balotelli.
Say it again.
Or
You broke up a
Suarez.
little.
There's always Suarez too.
That's true.
You broke up a little. Who was your bold prediction?
Either Suarez or Balotelli.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Suarez. As much
Either
as I hate
Balotelli or
Suarez,
He seems like he's gonna be fit.
yeah, as much as I hate Suarez, I hope he's healthy for this tournament because he's an exciting guy to watch, even if I dislike him.
Yeah, kind of like Ronaldo.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost exactly
Looks
like
like
Ronaldo.
the
Yeah,
Ghanaian
let's hope
whip doctor
Ronaldo's
has
actually.
done his work though.
Yeah. I'm thinking that Angel Di Maria could be the guy of the tournament here.
Oh, he was man of the match in the Champions League final, so
He had an amazing year for Real.
I didn't think he could play in that position, but I guess they don't really have too much of a formation either.
Had a great year for Real and got totally overshadowed by Ronaldo and Bale. And so I could see Di Maria surprising a lot of people at the World Cup. Yeah.
I think
So-
he'll be the key to Argentina's goals. I don't know how many he'll actually score himself, but I think that he can definitely be creating them for the front three.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I
That'll
think,
be an exciting attack.
boy, that's going to be fun to watch, especially if Messi shows up.
We can't do worse than
Yeah.
2010, 0 goals in South Africa.
Yeah. Well, he's been good under Alejandro, so hopefully it'll be fun.
Any other groups? I know, Kirsten, that I don't know if you still have it, but at least 4 years ago, you professed your love for England. Rate their chances at all?
Yeah.
No, you've.
I think
I
they
don't know. England's not good. What?
I said I think you guys
That's
are
the problem.
divorce. Not in love with England anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. No, I mean, England should be more interesting than I thought they were going to be because Roy actually picked some young players, but watching Rooney struggle around the pitch just is not fun for me.
Rooney's their best scorer in qualifying, really. I think Sturridge could be great. I think if England get to the knockout round,
Yeah,
Sturridge is going to be in contention for the Golden Boot because he'll probably have scored 5 to put him through the group stage.
Have you seen them in their friendlies?
Oh, they're dreadful.
Yeah,
But Sturridge is
and
really
Rooney
good.
just does not look fit.
Did you see?
Yeah,
Rooney's
but that's-
fat. Did you see the
But they're awesome.
replacements for Oxlade-Chamberlain? that were suggested, Carrick and Cleverley. Like, okay, you lost your fastest winger. Let's bring in a Manchester United underperforming central midfielder.
Sounds like
I just didn't get it. Why wouldn't you bring like for like?
I don't
yeah,
know.
it's a little bit weird. I think if England have any shot at making it out of the group stage, they've got to bench Rooney for a bit.
Really?
Have to
I
do.
think they need to bench Welbeck.
They could bench both and
Yeah,
probably not
they
hurt
could bench
themselves.
both. They should just go by a rule. If you play for Manchester United, don't play this year. I
And
think
Jack,
Lallana's really good. Lallana's an exciting player.
yeah, Lallana should be
Yeah.
fun to watch. I think Sturridge is going to be great to watch. I think you're right on that, Jack.
I think Sterling could be a lot of fun as well.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even
If he
Ricky
gets
Bangor,
time.
who's also going to Liverpool,
Stupid Liverpool.
unfortunately. I think Luke Shaw, Baines will be playing left back, and Luke Shaw didn't get called up now, did he know? Glenn Johnson at right back.
Wait. No, James Milner at right back.
James Milner at right back. That's an interesting choice. He probably could play there.
Well, guys, he played there last night.
Mm-hmm.
He was dreadful.
My
Yes,
favorite
question-
Twitter account is the fake James Milner. Or boring James Milner.
Yeah, boring James Milner, you know. But yeah, they played him at right back last night. It was an experience.
Is Wilshere hurt?
Nobody didn't look good.
I just saw Tom
Yeah.
tweeted that he rolled around on the ground for a number of minutes. In
But isn't
typical
that-
Arsenal fashion.
Yeah.
Either of you think the U.S. have a chance of getting out of the group stage?
Nope. I think the U.S. maybe have a 50% chance to score one goal. That's how I feel about the U.S.'s chances.
I would say that I can't agree with that. I think the U.S. are going to score more than a few goals, but I also think their defense is just going to let them down horrendously. I mean, because
Interesting.
that strike rate is, well, okay, maybe they'll score a few goals if they don't let Josie Altidore get all the minutes. But Dempsey should score. Bradley has a chance at it. I'm a lot higher on Aaron Johansson than a lot of people are. I think he should get a little bit more playing time than Josie Altidore should.
Julian Green.
Julian Green. I'd rather
Sure.
see I'd rather see Wondolowski than Josie Altidore at this point, which is pretty terrible.
Josie's still only 24.
He's only 24? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always
And
think
to think he's so fully matured into the Emil Heskey role already.
well, basically.
I mean, he is the U.S. Emil Heskey, and it's terrible.
Oh, poor Emil.
He
I
was a
remember-
good thing that happened.
They're saying Benteke was the new Heskey, and I was about to cry, and then Benteke actually became really good.
For some reason the other day I saw something that was the starting lineups of the U.S. versus England in the last World Cup.
Oh my
Featuring
gosh.
Emil Heskey.
Warnock.
Warnock, yes.
Yeah, That was
Robert
back
Green.
when Aston Villa were a powerhouse.
That was back when Robert Green wasn't winning the promotion playoff with QPR.
Yep. God. So. And Jack, you had one thing you wanted to ask us in terms of not World Cup.
Of not World Cup.
No?
Your non-World Cup starting 11.
Oh, the best players that are not at the World Cup. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of really good players that aren't there, so choosing a top 11 is pretty difficult. But I think I got it. Let's see what you guys think. I went for a 4-4-2, and at the back Czech, and then Alaba, Benatia, Subotic, and Ivanovic. And then left to right, Arda Turan, Ricardo Montalivo, Ilkay Gundogan, and Marek Hamšík. And oops, I actually only have 12 players on there. And then Ibra and Falcao. And then, yeah, I guess I got to drop Turan for Bale. Whoops. So
I was just gonna say you can't leave Bale
Turan
off
to the
this
bench. Turan to the bench. I guess that acts as Nasri from the bench. So poor Nasri. Poor Nasri's girlfriend.
list.
She was not happy. Then on the bench I did put Benteke on there. So it's Benteke, Robert Lewandowski, Stefan Jovetic, Victor Valdez, Aaron Ramsey, Jefferson Farfan, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Martin Skirtle, Henrik Mkhitaryan, Seamus Coleman, Isco, and then Arda Turan.
Hey, you left Donovan off. High five.
Yeah, I left Donovan off. Donovan's not fit to lick some of those players' boots.
You had me all riled up in our pre-show talk.
Yeah, I know, that was funny.
God damn it.
Anyone that, besides Donovan, who you think should be in there?
I don't want to see Donovan anywhere near there.
Delph?
That would be one of the people I would possibly consider.
Yeah, but just because you're in England's squad doesn't mean you're even one of the top players there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be an argument for Delph, then?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What that means he could have been at the World Cup. Maybe, but
This is much more difficult than, or much easier than the one that I had to do, which was the 11. I didn't put them into positions. That was just too difficult. But the 11 that were on squads going to the World Cup but didn't make even the preliminary roster. That was exciting.
oh.
And of course, by that, I have to shout out for Jose Callejon because I love him. But he's Spain, so he'll never go to a World Cup.
Spain, I guess I probably could have had a few more Spanish players. I think Navas and Negredo right there. Isco
Yeah.
really, I think, got robbed. I would definitely rather have Isco than Cazorla,
Yeah.
easily. I guess also for Brazil, Marquinhos didn't make it. He's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So you had Gareth Bale. He was your almost your last one, right?
No, he was one of the first names on the sheet. I just accidentally
Well,
wrote.
yeah, no, I know, but he was one of the last ones you named in the starting 11 because he's obviously up front, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure because I hadn't heard the name and I wanted to make sure I heard that right. So, yeah, I find it hard to disagree with that 11 that you named.
I think maybe central midfield or central defense. Maybe I don't know. Maybe right back, I guess, but. I think Carvajal had a pretty good season at Real.
Mm-hmm. Any other big?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that he got left off for an injured defense.
Yeah. I was glad that Juan Fran made it. I guess also the other left back you could have would be Felipe Luis from Atletico.
I would agree with that. I think he could definitely be in there. Are there
Yeah.
any other big storylines that the two of you are tracking for this World Cup?
Not really particularly. I think if Brazil go out early, I don't really think people will riot there though. I don't think there will be that much to worry about, is what some people have been saying. As long as I know that some of the construction's really far behind, like some of the
Well,
there were supposed to be 7
might
bus
riot.
lines in one
They
city,
might
they
riot.
only had 2.
What was that, Kirsten?
oh, that's good. Oh, I said that they might riot, but they might riot for different reasons other than the team not doing well.
Oh no! But I think as long as Brazil are still in it, I think that will keep the people happy for the most part.
Oh, okay.
I think something was interesting. It's always a relevant topic, I guess, is the money now with after the Premier League got so much TV money last year. The total prize money this year is 576 million. That's dollars. It's up 37% from the 2010 World Cup. So if you don't get out of the group stage, you're gonna still make 8 million. Your country, and I guess for the winner is gonna get 35 million, runner up 25 million, and 70 million of this is being paid to the domestic clubs who have players at the World Cup.
So pretty much it'll end up making the rich clubs richer.
Yeah, I think that's the plan a lot of the times with FIFA, though, actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, when the
And to
plan
line their
isn't
own
to-
pocket.
Yeah, and when the plan isn't to make FIFA's hierarchy richer.
Yeah. That's another part of the plan.
Did I open us up to a lawsuit by saying that?
Probably.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Or at least she'll never get to run for FIFA president.
Shoot. Well, there goes that dream. Who do you guys think wins it all? The ultimate question.
Brazil.
Yeah, definitely Brazil.
I
Brazil.
know it's the easy answer, but
I think
yeah.
I think the Germans and the Argentinians they'll be close. I think Spain they'll have a shot, obviously, I guess, but there are some pretty strong teams there, and there
I
are a
think
lot of
it'll
really
be
good
Spain.
teams, but
Yeah.
I've got Germany winning it all. It just seems that
Germany will
so
be
often.
third.
I just see so often the favorites come in these tournaments and they can't hold up their position as favorites. So I'm just gambling.
Yeah,
that
but
I think
Germany's like dying. They're all injured.
Yeah, last I heard about Neuer, it was hurting him to brush his teeth because of his right shoulder.
all right. Well, maybe that should change my perception. But I don't know. I just,
Schuller's really good, and if Neuer can come back somewhere in the knockout rounds, that'll be a big boost for them.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think they'll be able to get out of the group stage, not with ease because it's a tough group, but I think they'll be able to get out. And once they're there, I think they can do some damage in the
They have
knockout
Portugal
round.
without Ronaldo. They should breeze.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
should take 9. That being said, Yogi Löw will change up his team sheet for literally no reason, and they'll probably struggle and maybe draw the U.S. in the last game 0-0. Not. Oh, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. You can get Colombia at 40-1.
It's not the worst odds. I don't know. I don't think I would take Colombia at 40-1. Even then,
No.
not
100
worth
to
it.
1.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
England have lower odds than Uruguay. England like 28-1 and Uruguay about 33-1. I think France could be a good bet at about 20-1 at a lot of places.
Really? I should go put a euro on that. Some
Yeah.
guy came out of the
I
today
think
yelling,
they'll get last
Aguero,
eight.
Aguero. I was convinced that he put a bet on Aguero to be the highest scorer, but it's not going to be Aguero. He doesn't take the penalties. Yeah, please fix that.
I mean, it could be Aguero, even if he doesn't take the penalties. I mean, if it was the right price, it could be worth a euro. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
So,
and you guys got anything else? I think that just about does it for us today. Yeah, so if there's more Villa news, if there is a takeover, we'll have a podcast next week. But if not, I think probably 2 weeks. See us in 2 weeks. As always, we're on BTR, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube. So yeah, I want to say thanks to Kirsten for joining us today.
I'm glad I could. I'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think that wraps us up for this week. Thanks for joining us on the Holtecast.